Yes. So hello everyone. क्या मेरा ऑडियो वीडियो क्लियर है? अगर क्लियर है तो प्लीज जस्ट राइट यस इन अ चैट बॉक्स. If my audio video is clear, you can write yes in a chat box. Those who have connected with us on YouTube. Right. So people are connecting in. So great, yaar. Today we have one of our celebrity of our CA community with us, right? Nivedita with All India Rank 3. A round of applause for her, first of all, right?
Thank you so much.
And it has been so happy and so proud moment to say that she had scored All India Rank 3, and also she has fulfilled my dream of scoring 80 plus marks, right? So Nivedita, first of all, welcome. Good to see you joining in today.
Thank you
Right.
for having me.
Yes. So Nivedita, we just wanted to know how was the feeling before the results and after the results, after you saw your results out. What was the feeling? And once you have seen, so first you have seen the mark sheet, then you have seen the rank, right? That is generally the normal process, or was it the opposite process in your case?
No, actually, I got a call from the president like 15 minutes before the results were officially out.
Okay.
Like he called at about 1:15, the results came out about 1:30.
Okay.
After that, once the results were out, the site didn't even load, and I just got the merit list with the first 3 rankers and just started getting calls after that.
Oh my God. Oh.
Actually, saw my mark sheet only at about 4:30.
Okay. Great. Yeah. So how was the feeling as in once you have seen the result out? So everyone, the media, the news, and the people all around must have started approaching you, and the friends, in fact. Right.
It is surreal. I mean, it is unbelievable. It's still at that point in time.
Okay. Still you're digesting it out. Yeah, I have got a rank.
It is all like a dream.
Okay. Great. So I also went through your journey in IPCC also. So in IPCC, you didn't score any rank. I think you gave one group, right?
Yeah.
Right. And in the final, all of a sudden a rank, right? So have you decided it before ki nahi yaar, I wanted to get a rank once I'm into the CA finals, or how it went around?
So the reason I gave the group separately in IPCC was that I was doing regular college at that time.
Okay.
I wanted to clear it in the first attempt rather than giving both and not being able to manage. So that's the reason I gave it separately during IPCC. But CA final, I had I had decided beforehand, even before I joined articleship, that I'm going to give both together.
Okay. With articleship in a Big Four. Right.
But I didn't, I didn't go for a rank. I didn't expect a rank also. I just gave 100%. So whatever results came is this incident to the results.
Right. Great, yeah. Good to see this out. And in fact, you have scored such a good marks, right? In terms of marks and in terms of percentage also, right? Generally, students said that, yeah, this much, how much we score in a BCom, she has scored in the CA final exams, right? Right. But jokes apart, yeah. We wanted to know your strategy regarding how was your overall preparation strategy for all the subjects out. And how did you prepare for each subject? We'll ask in detail one by one. Yes.
So I had about 5.5 months of study leave, exams. So I completed all the classes before that. So I ensured that 5.5 months is only for myself, my preparation and my revision. That was the first step. I was able to complete it as well. Complete all the classes before by May at least as well.
Okay.
And, I took it to around 3 revisions. 3 revisions, 5.5 month period, along with an added revision of some difficult topics in across subjects. So those topics I made sure to give additional importance towards the end of November. So all the chapters 3 revisions plus additional revision for difficult topics. That's how I had planned my 5.5 months beforehand. Like on the first day of the first day of the study day, we sat down. I'm not going to say today, this is what I'm going to plan. So I planned, backward. That is, I have a day and a half before the exams. So how I'm going to plan back from that. So my revision is going to be for a day and a half. The one before should be 3 days. The before should be 5 days. The one before should be around 10 days for each subject.
Okay. Got it.
Kind of months. Yeah.
Yes. So when I decided, yeah, I am calling you for interview, I also told my students out. Then students asked me, sir, please ask her some pro tips, sir. I also want to score good marks, and also I want to score a rank. So any sort of pro tips which you followed, or any common mistakes which a May 22 student should not do?
Probably don't leave too much gap between two revisions. I think that is one mistake that I did. Because I started, for instance, I studied law in the first week of July, for instance. And when I came back towards the end of September, I could remember only 40%.
Okay.
So because it is a gap of 3 months after the first revision. So that mistake should not be done. I learned it the hard way. So I had to come back to another revision. It was a bit demoralizing at that point in time that I didn't remember, 100% of what I studied. At least not even 90%. I remember only 40%. So yeah, I think that is one thing that we have to bring into the timetable itself. At least 1 day of revision every week of whatever has been done during the week. I think that especially in theory subjects. So that will definitely help. I think that one mistake that I did. So that is how because my timetable didn't allow for the 1 day of revision. That is one mistake that I did. And second one is probably giving mock tests, which is very similar to the exams. I took 3 days of leave. I took 3 days of revision and then a mock test, not a day and a half and a mock test. So I had the extra question before the mock test, and I find it difficult to revise everything within the day and a half before exams. So probably if I had my mock test as well with a day and a half, that would have been better preparation, better strategy for the main exams as well. And going into the 16 days, it's going to be a tough ordeal. It's going to be a huge sprint. So we have to have the necessary mental preparedness for the 16 days rather than your revision and everything. Your mental preparedness is also really, really important.
Right. So as you've mentioned regarding a mock test, I still remember your paper, which I have checked, right? So what motivated you to give a paper of risk management? See, I'll tell you very honest, most of the students says that elective hai, open book hai, right? We'll do it out and ho jayega, right? This is what the student says out, right? But what was the strategy, first of all, you followed for the risk management and how you prepared the subject? And I think this is the second highest score in your scorecard after IDT, right? So what was the overall strategy to score 80 plus marks in risk management?
So yeah, I didn't look at it as a elective subject. Elective subject probably preparation is different. That is, you don't have to remember everything, but still preparation is required.
Right.
That is there. So I went through the study material and the digest at least 3 times before the exams, and then your full batch notes and the concept building notes. So that I had made out important points and wrote it in the study material itself, so that this is related to this topic. So this is where I'm noting it in. So I had sticky notes all out throughout my study material. So that and I went through a few case studies, live case studies, and case study digest in all of that. So and your index as well helped. So the main reason I wrote my exam, one of the reasons I wrote the mock test is whether my index, my capability to find the topics, relate the topics to the question that is asked, is that there. Even though I know the topic, I'm able to relate that to the questions that are being asked. That is one main reason that I wrote the mock test. So and time management as well, definitely.
Right. So I also remember your paper, as in where I have written that you should score 80 plus marks in the final paper out, and I think you scored somewhere around 74 or 76.
72 or
72, right? So great, at the time of a mock itself, you felt like I should give a mock to prepare myself for a final battle, right? So great, good to see this out. And also I want you to share your strategy for specifically for a theory subjects out, because I'll tell you what happens nowadays is that most of the students which the scores I have seen, they have not scored well in the audit and law and the DT part for this time of results specifically, right? So any specific preparation which you will recommend to the students, stating that this things you should do in this way out, specifically for audit and law first?
For audit and law, I rely mostly on the study material only. So I think for the first read, I took out the key points, keywords from the study material, and during my second revision, went through those key concepts from the material. Especially in law, a very very detailed orientation is required, because it is some parts are tricky, some parts are hidden, which are not even given in the section, but still, this is how it could be asked. So very attention to those hidden points is really required in law, especially in the first three chapters of company law. Similarly, in audit, audit is that it is vast. So it is, there's 150 pages where you will be asked for 5 marks. So the
Okay.
really definitely vast, and making your own notes or summary notes and will definitely help, and especially underlining the keywords and going through them and being constant touch. And at least I think my revision for audit must have been 4 times, not 3, only for audit, because the subject was vast and I wasn't able to remember as much as other subjects. I think audit and law would have been 4 revisions, while others had only 3 revisions. Other subjects had only 3 revisions, because I felt that I wasn't able to remember as much as other subjects.
Okay. Okay.
That is really required. Yeah.
Right. And for the DT portion, how did you manage the volume in 1.5 days?
DT portion, so I had a clear plan for the 1.5 international taxation by the day of the exam, the day of the elective paper. So I'll finish international taxation, so 30 marks is done. And then the remaining DT is split into the major 5 or 6 topics that have a higher weightage, that was finished in the morning or till the evening of the first day of the day before the exam. The remaining topics, of course, in the night, because again, some topics like assessment procedures would take a lot of time for revision. So I ensured that revision is made for the 4th time during the last 10 days before the exam, that is from November 21 to 30. So I had that topic revised 4th time, so that 5th time was the day before the exam, and I was able to finish quite quickly. If that the 4th revision was for 2 hours, I was able to finish this in 1 hour. So that extra revision would definitely help, especially in areas where you think that extra time is required.
Okay. And 2-3 common questions. Then we'll ask the questions from our audience also. So those who have connected from YouTube, right? You can use a live chat to ask the questions out. Please do not hesitate to ask the questions out. We'll be happy to answer your questions. Right. So very important question here. Have you ever felt stressed when you were on a study leave?
Yeah, definitely. That's what I was saying. So that this after the first revision, and I wasn't able to remember anything. It was quite a stressful time. Right? Could remember only 40%, and I felt a bit demotivated at that point in time. You just have to go through and ensure that doesn't happen for the second revision.
Okay. So many times what happens is that student feels stressed or they are unable to recall. So how did you overcome out of this? Or you were able to study continuously? That is again one way. But how did you overcome with the stress? And number 2, at what frequency you took a break? Say for example, my first reading is completed. So should I take a break for 1 or 2 days, or should I continue with the second reading now?
Unfortunately, I didn't leave any time for break during my study. I probably should have, but I didn't leave anything.
Okay.
During the time when I had, I couldn't remember anything. There was one thing in my mind before I started my preparations. This is my only one attempt that I have. After that, I'm not gonna write CFNL anymore. This is the final. This is the only attempt that I have. So I think that is what helped me, get through the next 3 months. This is the only attempt I have. This is the only thing that I have. If not this, there's nothing else. So,
right. So have you skipped any of the portion while you're studying?
Not clearly. I wouldn't skip anything. Even if I'm gonna not fully complete something, I'll know something basic about it. So that I'll know the concepts, so that I can take something, not just fully leave some solid concepts.
Okay. Got it. And few people are asking that how many mock tests one should write before the exams?
So I wrote 1, but because of the time constraint. But if you're planned ahead and you have enough time, you could probably write 2, because I took 3 days before each mock. So if you're going to cut it down to 1.5 days, you can definitely attempt 2 mock tests.
Okay, got it. And have you skipped any of the portion in exam, as in when you're writing the 100 marks paper, right? Were you able to complete 100 on 100, or is it 80 on 100? Or so 80 is not possible because I think 4 subjects you scored around 80 and 80 plus, right? So were you able to complete 100% of paper, and what's the strategy to complete 100% of paper?
So during the first 15 minutes that is given for the question paper reading is pretty critical in assessing whether the question paper is it's going to be lengthy or it's going to be short, or you're going to finish in time. So that 15 minutes is really important. So I gauged in FR and in DT that is going to be a very lengthy paper. But FR being the first subject, I couldn't get the speed during the first question or so, because I want the first question to be perfect. So the first question was slow, but I realized after that, it's going to be a pretty tough task to finish the entire 100 marks. So at least for the first paper, for the last question, I wasn't able to finish, write all the steps. Even though the answer was there, I wasn't able to, demonstrate all the steps. That is probably why I lost a few marks there in FR. But yeah, but the 15 minutes is pretty critical in identifying these are the questions and whether I'm going to have enough time. So that is really important. And I made a point to write for all 100 marks. As I said, I didn't miss any topics so that I can write something of any concept.
Okay.
I definitely attempted all 100 marks. Yeah.
Got it. Mahima is asking that how did you manage all subjects together? And also I do like to add on. So you were studying one subject at a time or 2-3 subjects at a time?
The first revision was 2 subjects at a time. One was practical.
Okay.
On the second, it was each subject at a time.
Okay. And how did you divided your day? As in how much hours you plan to study and how was the schedule?
So yeah, the hours, it didn't really matter. So I used to get about 7 hours of sleep a day. So everything that, other than that, eating, it was devoted to studies. So and how much is effective? Probably 13 to 14 hours or 14. Or we would have studied for 15-16 hours. The effective would have been 13 to 14 hours. So I started into one theory, one practical, so that to get into the groove, I've started practical and then move on to theory subjects.
Right. Vikram is asking about SCMP. How did you manage the theory and also for IDT? See, nowadays every student is scary about this theory is so tough, right? And SCMP sounds like it's a management part in a strategic management of the IPCC portion, right? So how did you manage this out?
I found the subject pretty interesting.
Okay.
First step in approaching the subject was that it is a theory subject. It is not a practical subject anymore. So if you study it like a theory subject, especially I think the study material itself, if you go to the summary part after the end of each chapter, that itself was pretty good, which covers the summary of the entire chapter. That helps in quick revision. And yes, I like the subject, so I could get through the theory portion of it pretty quick. And it was really practical. As you said, it is very similar to SM in IPCC, which I think many students find it interesting. So if you approach it that way, I think the subject is interesting as well. The theory portion is really important. The 70 marks is theory. So that way, I think that is, and plus the case study digest is there. So it made for a good study.
Right. So I think I covered most of the question, and also you scored good marks in FR and SFM also, right? Any specific tips for those 2 subjects?
FR and SFM, ensure to cover all the subjects, all the questions in the study material.
Okay.
And there are some questions that are after the end of the chapter, some illustrations within the chapter only, which are given along with the concepts. Important, so that helps in if you're doing the first study, for instance, those illustrations help you to understand the concepts, especially in FR. And even from the examination point of view, had you marked the important illustrations beforehand, that will help you in revising the concept. With the illustration only, you can revise the concept. So that is going through the study material questions is really, really important, especially for FR. For SFM, conceptual clarity is really important rather than just doing the sums. This is how the sum is to be done. Conceptual clarity of why it is being done or how you value the stuff is really, really important in SFM.
Okay. And last question which I wanted to ask. So have you done some categorization like ABC or something sort of when you were studying out?
So for a few subjects, yes, I did. For FR, for instance, I had A-level standards, B-level standards, C-level standard. I ensured to complete everything, but the level of importance was definitely given to in a few standards. For FR, for law, for audit, I couldn't. For audit, obviously, your professional ethics and companies act portion is the APA part.
Right.
SCMP, I wasn't able to because everything questions were being asked for me every page of the book. So
right.
And DT, IDT again, the main 50 marks of GST, which So I had categorized as 50 of GST, 25 of customs, and 25 of procedural concepts in GST. So that's how I had split the subject, especially in IDT.
Okay. Got it. So great, yeah. It's more about the planning and it's about more about the strategy part, right? And if I ask you, what is more important, right? Although both things are important, but do you believe in a principle that a correct planning will lead to a correct execution? Because now most of the students, those who were not able to score good marks, are into the planning stage. So anything which you would suggest to the May 22 students, any pro tip or any suggestion for May 22 students when they are planning and also during the time of execution?
Yeah, correct planning is definitely important because without that, execution will go haywire. If planning is there, execution may go haywire. So I think that there's a distinction in that. So at least you have a plan. If you are able to stick to the plan, it is definitely success. If not, at least for some, at least 80% of the plan you have followed, I think it'll give you better confidence rather than going absolutely without any plan and just going a day, going. That's going to be a bit tough. It's going to be it's going to make you less. It's going to make you less confident. But going with a plan will definitely will increase your chances of executing it to a greater level. So definitely planning is really important. So the students who are applying in May 22 still have 3 months to go. So depending on how they're writing one group or both groups, they can split their remaining revision portions plus mock tests in such a way that able to cover at least. So I had at least three revisions. So they've already done with one. At least 2 revisions plus 1 mock test will definitely help in these exams.
Right. So great, yeah. It is nice to interact with All India Ranker and especially the All India Ranker 3123, right? So good to see this out. And in fact, you have scored and achieved my dream of getting a rank and also getting 80 plus marks, right? I have 2 special gifts for you. Number one is we have sent a small token from our side at your home, and second, we'll be gifting you our interview workshop where we used to train our students, right? So I'll enroll you in that workshop. Again, it's starting from 16th, so you can join there as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes.
Support. And I think you were like the second or third person to call after the results.
Right.
I was about to call you and you call this guy.
No, yeah, great. Good to hear this out, yeah. And for the students, right, those whose doubts are not covered, right, you can post it on a comment section. I'll collate all the doubts and I'll ask Nivedita to please help the students out in this, right? So guys, जिनका भी exams है अभी May 22 में, all the best from our side. Just let us know if any help is needed. We'll be happy to help you out, guys. Okay, I think we'll conclude the session. Thanks Nivedita for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.